Welcome to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh, the Note Queen, where we talk about owner financing and notes. Financial solutions, one mom and pop to another.
Anyone has emailed in or chatted that I should be aware of?
We have it was an earlier question from Brian. He wanted to get an example of how to use a note to create cash flow for a seller that owns a home free and clear. How do they jump into the note game, if they own their home already?
And they don't want to sell the real estate. They just want to get money?
Yeah, via note.
Well, that's called getting a loan. That's called they're looking for an origination. So either they're trying to get a loan. Now there are, I know there's some people out there that they self-deal, like, okay, one entity owns the property and another entity that they own, but, they create this note, but it's all self-dealing. And I know that some people are fine with that, not particularly, it's a little weird. I usually stay away from that kind of a thing, where it's been really hyper manufactured. So basically, if you have a lot of equity, you own the property and you don't want to sell it and you want cash, you go get a loan. So, and you'll get a note and a deed of trust originated from the bank or private money lender, something like that. So trying to create a note to then sell, it's just like, it's too much brain damage. Just go get a loan, That's what I would say. Now, it's interesting that in the last month, I've had 2 or 3 different scenarios come across my desk where we're trying to go, how can we do this? So the situation in all 3 cases has been that the note that they're paying on, the borrower's coming to us. The note that they're paying on has hit a maturity date, meaning the balloon payment is due. Like it's, they still owe a bunch of money and they haven't been able to get the cash to pay it off, or they haven't been able to arrange for a bank loan to take out the owner carry or the other private party. And so we've looked at going, can we, instead of, in fact, this is true on one I just, Pat, I don't know if you're still here or if David Kurtzman's on here, but we just closed on a note this last Friday, exactly like this, where the borrower said, hey, I'm at this maturity date, and I don't want to have to get a loan. I can't get a bank loan, and I don't want to get a private money, hard money loan. It's going to take too long. I'm already in hot water. I need a solution ASAP. So I go, okay, well, instead of making you a loan, I'm going to see if I can buy the existing note and then I can modify it for you. In this case, in our deal out in Hawthorne, on a 6-plex, she had 2 junior liens. So the first was the one that was up against the balloon that David and I bought, and the second and third was another $100,000 on top of it. So I didn't want to have to get subordination agreements from the second and third, right? So to keep the priority lien position of the first, we just took assignment of it and did a modification rather than do an origination. And in general, even though, and this one I liked because, it's an investment property. It's a business purpose loan. We're not dealing with a consumer situation. So it's a lot cleaner that way, but that was just slammed up easier. I still did the same underwriting I would as if I was going to make a loan. I still made a drive out there, took half a day, go out and back and look at all the rent rolls and meet the tenants and stomp around in every single apartment. So, anyway, but a lot of times the other 2 deals I couldn't make happen because it would just be too expensive. So sometimes it works that I can take an existing loan that's coming up against a balloon, and it's easier for me to buy that note and modify it for the borrower than it is to do an origination. But still, I'm still very careful. I can't raise their monthly payment, especially if it's any sort of consumer situation, because I don't want to, I don't want to get in trouble with or put that person in jeopardy that their DTI, their debt to income ratio, still needs to be very manageable for them, right? I don't want to, think I'm creating a solution and then I just put them in the same tight spot that they were before. And so sometimes it works. I can buy an existing note and modify it rather than do, but sometimes it turns out I can't because it's just too expensive, right? Like the amount of money I can bring to the table is too big of a discount. We can't cover the gap there. But
You've been listening to Virtual Coffee with Dawn Rickabaugh. For more, please visit notequeen.com.
Basically, let's get down to the basics. What is a note? It's a promise to pay, an IOU. I owe you this money and I'm going to pay it back over these terms. Now in real estate, and ideally if you're making a loan, you have a security instrument. That means if you don't keep your promise, you're going to lose the asset. It's secured by an asset that can be retrieved and sold to get the lender out of their financial.